Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
And welcome back to the show. Of course, I'm your host, Mike David, and joining me today, please welcome my guest, Sundi Bright. Sundi, how are you today?
I'm good, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome back to the show. And Sundi, as always, why don't you start with first putting out your contact info or whatever is the best way for my audience to reach out to you for after the show.
I'd be happy to do that. My email address is IAM at Sundi, SUNDI, Bright, BRIGHT.com. My email or my website is sundibright.com or bright-future.net.
Excellent. And Sundi, again, glad to have you back with us. We're excited to get some more information and insight from you, of course. But for those out there who are maybe first time tuning into you or just may not be as familiar, if you don't mind, just going over what it is you do exactly and just a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. The products and services I offer are all centered around helping people shift out of a vibration that is creating problems in their life and to one that is in alignment with who they really are what they want in life. Your life is your creation, and if you have a problem with your health or finances or relationships, then there are energetic imbalances that are the result of unresolved past traumas that create limitations. It's my mission in life to help you access those hurts and heal them so that you gain the power you were meant to gain in that situation and advance along your path in a joyous way. I've studied all kinds of things, but I really based my work on, I would say, on a shamanic level, the energy, the shadow. We're accessing the shadow. We're dealing with the shadow aspects, and we're healing that part of people. So I've been doing this for about 25 years, and I'm a law of attraction coach and shamanic psychic healer. I see things psychically that people have problems with. If they don't know what the core of their issues are, I can see that for them psychically and energetically, help to heal, release, and add energies where necessary. So, but I'm excited to be back to talk about the third part of the 3 parts of transforming problems and consciously creating the life that you want. In my first interview, I talked about neutralizing negative emotions, specifically from past situations that have held a vibrational charge in your energy field and creating experiences that you don't want. In my second interview, I spoke of the states of mind that have the most power to manifest your desires. Those are being clear on what you want, belief that you can have it, and being open to the changes that have to take place to advance along your path to the destination of your desire. And these states of mind are hard to achieve unless you're first neutral, having neutralized the charge from past situations that have created a limiting belief and therefore drop the limiting belief naturally. Today I want to talk about the third part in manifesting your desires. That third part consisting of 3 aspects. 1 is asking for what you want, 2 is gratitude, and 3 is noticing how the universe guides you to your desire.
Gotcha. Yeah, those are interesting. Now, let's start with maybe the first one. Can you expand on how or who you ask for when it comes to asking for what you want, and why do you need to ask when you may already have set the intention?
Well, you want to ask because your vibration is setting all kinds of subconscious intentions that may be conflicting and confusing to the universe. Asking for what you want makes it clear which of those vibrational offerings you actually want. It helps you get clear because you have to know what you want in order to ask for it. It can be a lot harder than you think. And I must admit, especially when you're neutral, because you're kind of satisfied and, well, it's hard to, especially for me, I get real comfortable. But when I'm doing my journaling and when it comes time to ask for what I want, I often feel a resistance in my asking, and that resistance needs to be addressed as you do the asking. It's another way of recognizing that you have blocks to what you want. And this is something I really want you to listen closely to, as it's a little known way of busting through blocks to what you want. When I myself feel some kind of yes but mindset or other non-beneficial self-talk, I just sit in it. I just sit in it, kind of staring it down. My first impulse might be to turn away from it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to face the notion that I can't have what I want. I want to turn away and pretend it isn't there because it hurts. And I think I have to do something really hard to overcome it. But if I just sit there with as much acceptance of it that I can muster, it can actually release. And there have been times when I don't even know what it is exactly. I just feel it in my chest or solar plexus, that feeling that I shouldn't ask or can't have what I want. And if I just sit there in it, forcing my attention on it, it then releases. And it can even cause tears just flowing down my face as I have my attention on it for seemingly no reason at all, and then all of a sudden it's gone. I just feel it clear up, and I feel so much better about things. So that's something to keep in mind, and it's kind of like facing your fear. It's facing anything that you feel the resistance to. Just sit in it. Just, don't turn away from it. Don't resist it. And it's a very powerful little technique that you can use to bust through things. So ask, because the asking can lead to even more relief, healing, and the right vibration that opens the door to your desire. You may not realize it, but it is you that chooses your life experience. There's no one that is against you having it, except for those inner demons that you'll be clearing, and that your higher self and all your angels are up there going, I really wish she would ask for my help. So it could be, if you get into the habit of asking, not from a whiny, desperate, don't have vibration, but from an I am loved beyond measure vibration, life would be a fun game of asking and then following the clues to the victory of your desire. And you can ask for anything you feel you need help with as you journey down the path to what you desire. And I know how easy it can be to get upset over what seems like a hindrance, but if you're remembering to remain neutral, you simply have to ask something along the lines of, if I were to move through this obstacle, how would that happen? And guess what? The universe will answer in whatever way that it can. An example is my newest session offering. I call it the Neutralize It session, meant to help people with the first part of manifesting what they desire, because it's often so hard to know what the inciting incident was that initiated this energetic charge that creates problems in your life. I created this session offering to psychically see this incident for them and bring forth the energy to help neutralize. And yet I was feeling that there was something more to it. I'm just always practicing. I'm always playing with energy, and I want to help people see, like, instantaneous results. And so I was asking what else I needed to know to help people get neutral. And I'm going to talk about how I received an answer when I talk about the third aspect of this phase, but I feel it's really important for you to know that the way you phrase the question is important. Phrasing it in a way that prompts the universe to show you what you want to know or what you want to have happen is ideal. You want to be really careful about the questions you ask. For example, if someone who's in despair over a situation might be like, why me? And that's, what you're going to get is more examples of why you, why you're extending this vibration of for you, so you'll get more kind of for you stuff back at you. So you don't want to ask that kind of question. I kind of feel I need a whole book or course on this subject, but for now I want you to remember to, 1, ask, and 2, be aware of how you ask.
Yeah, that is so interesting, and there's a lot of great information, what you just said there. Now, what about the second thing? How does gratitude actually come into play with all this?
Well, gratitude has the vibration of belief and clarity of what you want, all rolled up into one vibration. Gratitude tells the universe that you trust it. Gratitude tells the universe that you believe. And feeling gratitude as if you already have the thing you're asking for is good, but gratitude for the gift in your current life experience does the trick as well. I find it easier to be grateful for what I already have because, finding the gift in my current experience that helps me advance along my path. And you learn everything in every phase of life that you're in, right? So once you acknowledge the gift in it, even remembering that this is something that you once wanted, it's a lot easier to be grateful. I, for one, have a hard time pretending. I'd be a terrible actor because I wear my heart on my sleeve and I can't seem to muster up feelings of something that I don't actually physically have. So, but the universe doesn't really differentiate between what you have and don't have. If you have this feeling of gratitude, it wants to bring you what you've asked for. So find a way to be grateful for what you have, or at least find something in your current experience that you're grateful for and focus on that. If you think about it, do you really like to give anything to an ungrateful crybaby?
Yeah, that is a good point there. I mean, with anything that when you feel underappreciated or people take you for granted, of course, it's not a good feeling. So, having that gratitude, it really does make a huge difference in so many different aspects of life, for sure. Now, of course, before the break, we were discussing a lot more in depth on, really manifesting our desires. And, of course, we've already talked about asking for what you want and also having gratitude and seeing how important that is. But now that brings us to our third aspect of just kind of noticing, how the universe guides us to our desire. So I wanted to ask you, what are some things we're supposed to notice?
Well, believe it or not, the universe does listen and does want to help you maintain your desire or obtain your desire, and it has all kinds of ways of leading you to that desire. And I will tell you, much of the time, that what the universe is showing you is how your vibration might not be matching what you desire, giving you the opportunity to shift to that right vibration. One of the ways it does this is through challenges, because in challenges you obtain a power that you can use to create what you want or provide the belief that you can have it. Another way is in your dreams. Dreams may present a challenge showing you what your vibration is, helping you to become aware of what needs to happen in order for you to advance along your path. The psychic impressions I get for people often are very dreamlike. In other words, instead of being literal, they're symbolic, and sharing the psychic vision with my client can help him or her start to understand how symbolism works, therefore being able to recognize it in everyday life. Other ways are songs, books, movies, and even Facebook posts. People often muse over the fact that something they mentioned or thought about suddenly shows up in a Facebook post or ad. Well, that's a signal that the universe is listening. And the more you're in a noticing state than you are in a thinking or worrying state, i.e. that neutral vibration I spoke of in my first interview, you will start to put the pieces together that answers your question and leads to your next move.
I see. Now, what about the answer to the question you mentioned? What else did you find out about how to help people get to neutral?
Well, there's a topic in my work that I've resisted for a long time, and I mentioned it in my first interview. That being anything that's evil. I kind of wanted to believe that it's all angels and butterflies out there in the world and shied away from anything otherwise. Well, when I asked for a way to help people experience bigger shifts that last, I was getting I was getting that kind of information, but I was being really resistant to it. So I was missing it. And then one night with my boyfriend, we were watching, it was movie night, and I was guided to watch a movie called Ghost Rider. And it turned out to have a devil involved. And so I opted to choose another movie. Well, I didn't realize it until the end, but the second movie I chose was also about the devil. And considering the fact that this angel-loving lady chose two different devil movies without knowing it, I had to stop and consider what was up with that. And when I thought about it, I started to realize the other ways that Spirit was guiding me to this. And then lo and behold, when I opened up to the idea, I started getting more information about the shadow, about being an entity in itself that takes on a life of its own, fed by festering negative emotions and wreaking havoc in our energy field. And removing this entity is fairly easy once it's known, so I didn't really have to be so afraid of it. But like I said, Spirit answers the questions you ask. And as a psychic healer, I have learned to ask the questions that lead to the discoveries that create healing. And it turns out this is a big question to ask. So I work with guides and angels, and when I ask them to show me any entities created by this negative energy, they do. And then they help me to eradicate them from the energy field. So you really have to pay attention to how the answers come. You can't just expect the universe to drop $1 million in your lap. They're actually going to guide you to the $1 million by leading you to the way most appropriate for you to obtain that, to obtain it that is in alignment with who you are and what your purpose is in this lifetime. In my experience, when you stop resisting the seemingly negative aspects of your life and start processing them, you overcome obstacles easily and you advance along the path in amazing ways, feeling joyous in the journey and becoming very powerful in the process. And by the way, so that you recognize resistance often comes in the form of, again, negative emotions, blaming others or believing that outside circumstances are against you in some way or out of your control. And if you look at each situation as your creation, you will have the power to, you will have power over the situation and your life. And I have found that journaling is the best way to process problems and negative emotions. It gives you a way to vent about the problems, helping you to release them, release the negative emotions in them. And when you write about the aspects that I have talked about during these interviews, then you can find a way of feeling much more powerful in the situation. And there have been times myself when I'm sure that my problem is somebody else and that there's no way I'm going to feel better about it because it's all about them being a jerk or whatnot. And then I go through this process and I see my own projection and I end up feeling amazing because I have the power to change me. And I'm not giving my power to someone else by being pulled into powerless negative emotions.
Wow, that is great, and yeah, I could definitely see how useful of a tool that is. Now, how can I know how to journal in a way that may transform my own problems?
Well, I have created a journaling outline to help you do that. It's not always cut and dry, and it's not always easy to face the inner demons that hold you back. But when you do, you dissolve them and move towards the victory of your desire. And this outline is a PDF file that you can obtain from howtotransformproblems.com for only $8.88. So it's a very inexpensive way. And I realize in this day and age that I really need to have an app for this. And I do have an iPhone app called The Secret Formula that really simplifies the process. I do still recommend getting the journaling outline as it tells you more about it. It's going to help you understand the steps better. And it's a quick 6-page read with an example of my own journaling when I was dealing with an acne problem. And I ask the questions in a very simplified way on the app. I'm not savvy enough to know how to do this for other platforms, although if you sign up for my Consciousness 101 program at consciousness101.com, you do have access to the web version, which you can bring up on most smartphones, and you'll also get the journaling outline on Consciousness 101 and a lot more material to help you make a habit of the process. It's a fairly quick overview of all 3 phases of transforming problems, including health problems, and manifesting your desires. But for now, that's what I have.
Yeah, that is so great, and really, really great information. I think a lot of what you said, when you broke it down, it really makes sense. Honestly, I for one could definitely see these tools being used just about with everybody and kind of being applied to so many different areas, with whether it's with relationships, careers, or just trying to get to your goals in general, and to use these tools here. I could definitely see being applied. I kind of think that you could become superhuman if you really applied this to every problem in your life. Because there's so much inner stuff. It all is, it's all inside of us. And if we heal what's inside of us, you break through so many limitations. And there's so much you can do with that. Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And Sunday, for those who are interested to kind of learn more about some of the things that we've, of course, talked about, but also find out more about you and your services, again, where is it that people can go?
Well, they can go to bright-future.net, the hyphen sign, future.net has a directory of pretty much all of my websites, all of my offerings. It all boils down to this formula that I call the secret formula, but I have different ways of helping people understand it. Because the more you understand it, the more you can put it into practice in your everyday life. And when you use this in your everyday life, with every incident, every challenge, every problem, you really are going to start to understand, and it's going to become a habit in life, and you're going to breeze through life in an easy way. So bright-future.net, sundaybright.com, or iam@sundaybright.com.
Sounds good. Sunday, again, amazing information today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to share with us and also helping out our audience. We always appreciate that.
No problem. Love to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks again. And for everyone else out there, please stay tuned. We're going to be right back.